The dust hasn't quite settled from Cain's footsteps when you hear it. Laughter. Children's laughter. It's jarring, honestly, like music in a graveyard. But there it is. Bright, bubbling, almost defiant. You follow the sound until you stumble upon a small group huddled under the makeshift shelter of a twisted fig tree. One of them is Seth. Yeah, that's Seth, the third son of Adam and Eve. The one they never really talk about unless they're tracing genealogies like they're reading a phone book. But here in this moment, he's just a father, telling bedtime stories to his children, and you crouch at the edge, just close enough to listen in. He speaks of God, but not like his parents did. There's no garden in his voice, no fresh grief either. His faith has been born in the wilderness, in sweat, loss, and raw survival. It's less poetry, more scar tissue. And maybe that's why it lands differently. You close your eyes listening as he tells them about Enoch, a descendant of his. This part, it gets weird in a good way. Enoch walks with God, like literally day in, day out. They don't just talk about God, they walk with him. And then one day, Enoch vanishes. Doesn't die, doesn't age out, just disappears. The story goes, he was no more because God took him. Imagine that. One minute you're walking through the village square, sipping on your goat milk latte, and the next you're just not there anymore. The kids gasp. One of them whispers, "Did God eat him?" You stifle a laugh. But the truth hangs heavier than the joke. Because for the first time since Eden, someone made it all the way home without dying, without punishment, without blood. Enoch proves it's possible to walk with God so closely that you simply don't need to exist here anymore. Wild, right? But it plants a seed in your mind. This idea that maybe the goal isn't to escape the world, but to walk through it in such step with something greater that it starts to feel like you've already left. Still, the world doesn't pause. While Seth's line begins to flourish, another descends into chaos. The descendants of Cain build cities, forge tools, compose songs, and invent murder 2.0. One of Cain's great-great-grandsons, Lamech, brags about killing a man just for wounding him. Not self-defense, not survival, just ego. You realize you're watching humanity split in two directions. One side builds altars, the other builds empires. And yet they're still family. That tension hums beneath everything. You can't quite shake the feeling that everyone's just a few bad choices away from either walking with God or collapsing under the weight of their own cleverness. Oh, and here's your weird historical tidbit for the night. Some early Jewish traditions suggest Enoch wrote books containing visions of heaven, angel hierarchies, and celestial secrets, like the original cosmic sci-fi author. Most of them didn't make it into the Bible, but they shaped early imagination in ways you wouldn't believe. Some say that's where the whole fallen angels teaching humans forbidden knowledge thing started, but we'll get to that. As you sit there listening to the kids drift off one by one, you can't help but wonder which side of the line you fall on. The one that builds cities, or the one that walks with God. And maybe it's not a binary. Maybe we're all constantly swinging between the two, offering our best lambs one day and lashing out the next. But tonight, under this tree, with the stars overhead and the weight of history curling around your toes like smoke, you want to believe in the Enoch path, in the possibility of vanishing, not out of despair, but out of intimacy, out of love. You rise quietly, leaving Seth and his children to their dreams. Your feet move forward again, and in the silence you whisper something aloud, just to test the air. "I want to walk with you." The wind rustles in reply. It's not much, but it's enough. You wake before the sun, feet numb, back sore, the taste of dust still stuck to your teeth like guilt you forgot to confess. And for a second, just a second, you forget where you are. Then you hear it, the pounding, rhythmic, relentless, like someone cracking open the bones of the earth. You follow the sound until it swallows you. You're in a field now, or what used to be one. Tools glint in the orange light of dawn, and men move like machines, each strike of their hammers singing the same cold song. Metal screams against stone, and from the chaos rises something monstrous. A tower. Not just any tower. The tower. You've heard whispers of it before, a stairway to the skies, a challenge to heaven. And now you see it for yourself, ziggurat-shaped, spiraling upward like humanity's collective middle finger to the clouds. You don't know who started it. Maybe someone got tired of praying and decided to build their own salvation. Or maybe it was just ambition. Too many men with too many tools and not enough ore. But the leader, a name drifts through the murmurs. Nimrod, a mighty hunter, a king, a legend. He walks past you and doesn't even blink. He's the kind of man who makes you feel small just by breathing near him. Like if confidence were a material, he'd be dripping in it head to toe. You glance up the tower, it's already scraping the sky. Not quite heaven, but close enough to bruise it. The workers speak the same tongue, shout the same orders. There's no confusion, no delay, it's efficient, scary efficient. Then it happens, not with a bang, not with fire or flood, but with silence. A man drops his hammer, another yells, except the words don't land. His friend stares at him like he's suddenly speaking bird. Panic ripples through the crowd. Men gesture, scream, curse, none of it makes sense. It's like someone shattered the language into glitter and threw it into the wind. You watch chaos bloom, where order once ruled. Someone shouts in your direction, but it's gibberish now. Beautiful, tragic gibberish. And for the first time since Eden, you see fear on the face of a builder. It turns out the greatest threat to a tower isn't gravity, it's pride. The people scatter. Families pack their carts, eyes wide with unspoken questions. Nations are born in a single afternoon. Borders drawn not by war but by misunderstanding. And here's your fun fact of the night. Some historians believe the Tower of Babel was inspired by the Atemenanki, a real ziggurat in ancient Babylon. It reached over 300 feet high, topped with a shrine to the god Marduk. We're talking about an actual skyscraper for its time, and possibly the very structure God decided to humble. But the real story isn't about bricks or blueprints. It's about forgetting where the sky ends and your ego begins. As you walk among the wreckage, you wonder what was more dangerous, the height of the tower or the hearts that built it. You pause at the base, running your fingers along the unfinished stones. Someone carved words into one before the confusion. Let us make a name for ourselves. You whisper the phrase back to yourself, soft, like a question. It feels hollow now. And this part? The part they don't put in the bedtime versions? It's that God didn't just scatter them out of punishment. It was mercy. Because when we all speak the same language and we aim our words at heaven, it's easy to forget that heaven isn't built by hands, but by hearts. You leave the tower behind. The wind carries pieces of broken speech in every direction. Like seeds, somewhere out there they'll grow into new tongues, new tribes, new songs, but tonight, you walk in silence, and for the first time in a while it feels like the right kind of quiet.